Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you. I got a comment from one of my videos about how I view the Republican Party after living in Sweden. It was a special kind of stupid, so I thought I would read it here. I'm sure the person put in a lot of time and effort, and I thought it deserved a response. So I'm going to give my response. I don't typically I'm not like a bully, but I am going to speak a little bit more unfiltered here about how I feel about this comment. I do not consider myself a Democrat, but I do think the Republican Party is the bigger evil out of the two currently right now. I would support a system that's a four-party system with a far right, a left, and a far left. I think it would be much healthier for the United States, so let me get that all the way before I begin. Now, let's read your comment. Here's my observation of your generation. You're overwhelmingly concerned with modern social issues with seemingly no historical perspective. Sorry, I messed that up. I don't really know what you mean here. A lot of the issues have to do with LGBTQ. We talk about African Americans and police brutality in the United States. These seem to be things in the forefront right now that were issues 100 years ago, 150 years ago. And growing up in American schools in a white area, let's just say my slavery education, we learned it, but you don't learn as much about the hate crimes such as like Rosewood and other things that really were messed up that happened to African Americans in the United States. And I think it's important we learn about that. You know, in high school, I learned and saw images of people that were killed just simply for the color of their skin. It's horrible and it needs to be talked about. And I don't really get what you're getting there with this. But then you say, the concept of unintended consequences is completely foreign to liberals. I don't know what you mean. What unintended consequences of talking about the issue are you talking about, sir? Police brutality is an issue. We haven't been talking about it, and look where it got us. So let's have a conversation. We see the results of these failures to think every day, yeah, free education, healthcare, sounds great when you're 25 and broke. It's a little different when you're 50 and worked your ass off and sacrificed to have a better life. Only to realize that you're paying for 50% of your income in taxes to pay for everybody's free stuff. Ooh, I know exactly what kind of Republican you are, sir. And I don't mean this to insult like all Republicans, but you're the special kind of stupid Republican. But let's get into it. So first of all, I think the highest income tax bracket, maybe there's 50%, but when I looked online, it's like 37%. You got to be making at least $535,000 a year. And let's be honest, sir, you're not making $535,000 a year. If I was to guess, I'd say you'd be in the average tax bracket, which is that 22%, which is about up to $60,000 to $80,000 a year. And that's a special kind of stupid because the people that vote for that, which I'm going to point out below, we're going to find out why you actually voted Republican, and we're going to talk about how you're kind of stupid for this because you're voting against your own self-interest. Because if you're making less than $250,000 a year and you're voting Republican, you are literally voting against yourself tax-wise for the benefits that you're getting. But let's get into that. Also, free education, free stuff. You're right. There's a big group. When you compare, like, people talk about, like, immigration in the United States or whatever, but trust me, like, people are coming to the United States because they want a better opportunity, but they're not coming for free stuff. We're not known as a country that's, like, this great country, has this amazing welfare service and program. You know, let's be real. It definitely was much better with COVID, and there were changes made, but you're being ridiculous. I mean, Europe is, like, light years ahead of this. But even getting into this, let's just talk about college education. You're 50 years old. Let's be real. Do you know that college tuition has gone up 216% since you went to school and then when I went to school? Can you understand the difference there, sir? You're talking about how you worked your butt off your whole life. Imagine taking on 216% more college costs. Imagine the fact that the interest rates are higher that you're paying off of. So you're talking about paying like $100, $150 a month for your education, maybe at the max $200. When kids nowadays are paying $400, $600, $800 in some cases, in the thousands in some cases, and there's less jobs, there's fewer jobs. And you're gonna pretend that like it's just as easy as us to get a home or purchase a home or have a better life with that kind of thing. And everything that you're saying is like a special kind of stupid because it's like you're saying, it was hard for me, it should be hard for you. Like, what a crappy attitude to have that like I struggled and everybody else needs to struggle, and that's the only way it works. Now, I agree that, my generation can be too soft as far as, like, expecting things to come to them because everybody said they were special. But again, that's on you guys as parents and not on us. Like, that didn't help us in any way. So I agree that sometimes people can be too sensitive. But if you're trying to compare your life to like how life is now, it's a bit ridiculous. And this is the concept. So many people that vote Republican that I've met, seen on Facebook, I'm talking the angry people that write on Facebook, they're unhappy with their lives, they're generally a loser, and because of these two reasons, like, they just don't want anyone else to be happy. And that's kind of how I sound with you, because when we get to the end of the comment, we're going to figure out you really don't want anyone else to be happy. So, and again, yeah, okay, $535,000, sure, dude, sure, that's what you're making. Okay, not to mention rampant abuse it invites. Sure, we live in the past, but because we still believe in personal responsibility, accountability, and hard work. Yeah, sir, you're right. If you just work hard in America, you're going to make it. Depending on where you are, of course, where you go to school, if you can afford it. And then not to mention, there's plenty of kids, like if your parents can't sign you a loan for college, or maybe in that midway position where like you can't get a lot of financial aid and help for your education, so then you're suffering trying to figure out if you can go to college or not go to college. Not to mention that colleges are built nowadays to keep you in school for 4 or 5 years to maximize their profit when they could probably lower the degrees. But yes, you're right, sir. Everybody's abusing the system. But in today's world, let's be honest, like hard work, like I hate this attitude, because it's like you're trying to act like somebody working minimum wage job that's poor isn't a hard worker. I would argue that a lot of people that are poor are working harder than you and I, trying to balance a life, try to make it off of an unlivable wage. Even if we look at the minimum wage, if you compare it to inflation, it's ridiculous. How are these people supposed to be able to survive? And this idea that people just want free stuff. Are there people that take advantage of the welfare system? I'm sure. But if we think it's mentally normal for people to like not want to work or feel like they make it, everybody wants to feel like they fit in. Everybody wants to feel like they want to make it. It's just a ridiculous comment. But let's get to the last part here. I don't give a rat's ass what people do behind closed doors, but liberals want to send the messages to every P word in the country that it's okay to walk into women's bathroom as long as you are wearing a dress. Look beyond your nose and engage your brain. So we get to the root of the problem. Yes, the biggest problem facing America today is the smallest percentage of people pooping in the bathroom that they feel safe pooping in. Yes, you're right. That is the biggest problem facing America today. And it is so ridiculous that you're saying there's this epidemic of P words going into the bathrooms and doing stuff to people. It is ridiculous. It's obviously not happening. It has been the case in Europe for a while that people do this. We don't have any issues. If there's any issue in American bathrooms, first of all, who's looking at what anyone else is doing in a bathroom? That's number one. If you go to the girls' bathroom, there's stalls, right? They're not peeing in urinals. There's stalls. If there's any issue, it's that little gap in the door of the bathrooms. But make the bathrooms better. You know, I go use the bathroom here in Stockholm, and it's a unisex bathroom, and yeah, it's a little weird the first time I go in there. Guess what? No problems. There's no disasters. Nothing's happening. It's made up. And here's the point. Here's why you're an idiot. Because you're not voting for the Republican Party because you're extremely wealthy and you're making a lot of money. No, you're an idiot making maybe $60,000 a year, and you're getting grifted by the Republican. You really think the Republican Party cares about transgender bathrooms? They don't. They just say that stupid stuff on television because they know your dumb idiot is going to vote for them. Because that's how simple-minded you are. So, sir, I'm sorry that I used names. I apologize. But if you're going to write a comment like this and you think this is well thought out, think again. Stop voting against your own self-interest. Stop voting Republican. Start thinking with your brain and start looking at yourself. Because if you're mad at any problems with our generation, that's on you, bro.